course, Mr. Robert Weiner. Oh, gosh, this guy gets up to so much. He's Democratic strategist, columnist, and former communications director for Clinton drug czar General Barry McCaffrey, and former chief of staff for the House Committee on Aging. And, I mean, I can go on and on. He's had so many other names. Welcome to you both. And,
Thank you.
Bob, just Bob, get ready, because you know you and I are going to get into a fight today. You know it's going to be 2 against 1, and you might as well know you're going to lose from the get-go. So here.
I've got my shield on.
Oh, very, very, very good, because you're going to need that. And I haven't told you, my new bullets go through that, Bob, so it's useless.
Actually, Jane, it's great to have you. I take it this is the new voice of Alan Nathan. Your voice has changed, just sort of like the new president gave the message today and turned out to be a little kid.
No, dear, nothing. This is not Mr. Nathan. I've got my own big mouth. Thank you very much. Very, very proud of it. Came by it naturally. Don't make any apologies or excuses for it.
Jane, I'm delighted that you're hosting, and you have been an expert on so many things from healthcare on through, and it's a real plus that Alan and you team up in this effort, and congratulations on the success of your network.
Well, thank you. Main Street's in her 4th year, and knock on wood, if you can hear us, everybody, it's doing great. Now, I'm going to ask you both this. Amy, first to you, and then Bob. Listen up here, guys. Test time. The Obamas lived the 1% life. It was a very, very interesting blog article, synopsis, opinion in the Washington Times today. And what they're saying is that, presidential candidates, they all talk the talk and walk the walk. They go to Philadelphia. They say the Republicans eat at Pat Philly Steakhouse, and the Republicans eat at Geno's. I happen to Pat's Steakhouse, by the way, not because it's a Democratic stronghold, is actually the best cheesesteak in Philadelphia. And having lived there, way back when. But anyway, that's here or there, not here or there. But it's very, very funny. Our president, unlike his predecessor, we heard even up until now, we hear that once in a while, hear somebody blame the previous administration. Well, if they really wanted, the previous administration is their administration, but they still invoke the Bush administration and blame. And, the president, we're in a budget crisis. We're in a debt crisis. We pay $224 billion a day interest on our debt, folks. Okay, it's 16.5 trillion going up, and up, no end in sight. All right. Well, here you think, nobody advertised this or said anything in the media, but when the president, Bush had 9/11 and everything, sometimes that the perception is like, oh, the presidents always take holidays. Well, George W. Bush stopped playing golf in 2003 when the Iraq war started. And the reason being, he said, it would send the wrong signal. He thought that he didn't want some mothers and fathers who have sons and daughters over there who might have recently died see their commander-in-chief playing golf. He feels they owe the families a solidarity. So, if he's not over there at war, at least stay home, close to the White House and be able to give news updates. Also, they also did 2 things with little fanfare or praise. First, they never headed home to Texas Ranch until after Christmas. Instead, they always went to Camp David for a few days. That's why, and that way they could give hundreds of people, in the White House and around who make everything happen all the time, and the staff and the Secret Service agents and reporters and all, that they would be able to have holiday time with their family. And he never went to sporting events during this time because for the same reason, and he used to own part of a baseball team because he said the same thing, that it would give a wrong impression. Bob, hold on until you're called. I'm the teacher today, and if you're not careful, I'm going to wrap your bloody knuckles. So here I'm saying this president is cost this country over $1.2 billion, $1.2 billion last year, his family, over and above their allowance. They've already had 3 vacations this year. Their kids are off in the Bahamas. Mother is off in Aspen skiing. Father's off playing with Tiger Woods. 3 vacations each. So with Biden. His one day in Paris cost $460-something thousand for a limo, $565,000 for a hotel room. Excuse me, does money go on tree? Amy, what the hell is going on here? And, immigration's important. Gun control is important. But again, it's the money, dummies. Without the money, we don't have immigration. We can't pay for it. We can't have gun control because we're not going to be able to have the agents to control the guns out there. So what are we going to do?
Well, I would say, first of all, on all the vacations, I think what we have here is a man who's been reelected and can never run again. So he doesn't really care, apparently, what we see. I agree with you that it's unseemly. I mean, for example, having their daughters go to the Bahamas to be in a water park and then go out west to go skiing. You know, there is skiing here near Washington. I'm not saying it's the most great skiing in the world, although it's not bad. My own kids drove there during their break. But that's not what they want to do. There's one advantage to it. You know, the Obama administration does spend money like water. A lot of the news media doesn't want to cover it, but they will cover vacation. So it's one way to show the American people that Barack Obama doesn't care about saving their money.
Well, I love that opinion article, this analysis and opinion here in the Washington Times. Okay, Bob, let's hear it. So what are you going to debunk with what I just said? It's all facts, so let me hear what you have to say.
Well, first of all, it's great. I don't know if you heard today, but the Senate and the House Democrats...
No. You don't get to do that.
All agreed on a jobs bill, gun control, immigration, the budget, and gay rights. And it's all going to pass, and they're going to, as soon as recess is over, they're all going to come back, and they're going to pass all of those pieces of legislation.
All right, well, wait a minute, because the music, I'm going to give you more time on the other side of the break, because I want you to answer the question that was put forth instead of answering what you thought was the question, which wasn't. Folks, we're coming right back. You're with Jane Silk, guest hosting for Mr. Alan Nathan, the Count of Consonants. He will be back tomorrow. You're with Battle Line on the Main Street Radio Network. We're coming right back, and don't touch those dials. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. No, you're not hearing things. You don't have to change your dial. Put a little bit of more bass on the old radio. It's Jane Silk from the Silk Summary sitting in for Mr. Alan Nathan, our Duke of Debate. He is our resident Duke of Debate, let me tell you. He will be back with you tomorrow, I promise. But we're having great fun here, and we have so many things we have been talking about: immigration, gun control, but of course it's always the money dummies, and that's my favorite subject these days, and I am not going to not talk about it until somebody, our leaders on the Hill, do something about the monies. Now, without further ado, I'm going to get right into it, because I have somebody who's probably just like sitting there like a little kid stamping his feet because I know he wants to talk so bad. But first, let me introduce our guests. Amy Ridenhour, chairman of the National Center for Public Policy Research, and we're also very happy to say this show is sponsored in part by the National Center for Public Policy Research. Thank you, Amy. And Robert Weiner, Democratic strategist, columnist, and former communications director for Clinton drug czar General Barry McCaffrey, and former chief of staff of the House Aging Committee, or Committee on Aging, Mr. Robert Weiner. Okay, Robert, you get to answer the question I asked. Don't go and sit there and put what they did today and all the different little bloody little bills that they did. Whoopie damn do. I don't want to know. I just want you to answer the question and what Amy had said and what I said. So answer the question.
Do you know
why does he have a proclivity to spend so much money?
Your question was Obama's vacations, which, by the way, if you Google it and look it up, he's taken less than Bush and less than Reagan.
Sorry. You don't get that. No. They didn't have the challenging times.
My sentence, which is, I don't care where he takes his vacation. He's taken less than the other presidents. So what's wrong with that?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what's wrong. Plain and simple. When we went to war in 2003 with shock and awe, Bush suspended all his vacations. Okay?
No, he went to Camp David and took vacations.
No. He went to Camp David only at Christmas time, so that he could give all the other staff and Secret Service time to go home for the holidays. He went to Crawford after Christmas.
He went to
after Christmas. After Christmas, Bob, you're wrong. It's after Christmas. Get your facts right. After Christmas.
Day numbers of vacation.
I'm not talking. Bob, stop it. Now, you know what? You're asking. You're being like a child. Who gives a crap about the days, Bob? What I'm saying is he didn't go on any golf vacations after 2003. He didn't go away. He didn't go to Crawford or Kennebunkport until after Christmas, after New Year. Why? So his staff could have vacation. And so that's kind of thoughtful. I mean, Obama goes to golfing weekend, that costs the taxpayers of this country over $1 million to play golf with Tiger Woods. Who cares? And how dare that man spend that money, because we're broke. And you know what? The Obamas weren't so wealthy when they came into the office.
Critical of the Republican Congress, which has done less legislation than any in history and has the most days off of any in history. I hope you are evenly critical.
Well, I'm evenly critical with them, and I'm just as much critical as that old curmudgeon troll, Mr. Harry Reid, that they should put him in a cannon and shoot him back to Nevada because he stops every bloody thing that goes on. Amy, let me go to you for a second here.
Yeah, you didn't like my answers.
Not even like question of like your answers, Bob. They're retarded. I'm sorry. I don't mean to call you retarded, but your answers were me.
Work days is not retarded.
Excuse me, Bob. You know what? It's quality, not quantity. I don't care. If you see, you can't argue with the fact that during the war he didn't go on vacation, but Obama during the worst Great Depression of our world, he's gone on more vacations during our fiscal hardship than any president would ever go. Now wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hey,
stock market
I'm going to turn your mic down if you don't be quiet. This is not your show. Hush up, Amy. Let me ask you something here. You know, it's the money. When you look at the Obama administration, the Obama family has cost over $1.2 billion last year. Just that alone, okay? He spent more money, this family, than any other presidential family, even after their allowances. What I don't see, and I mean, I know the media should hand in their card. They do not report on what it should. But Amy, I mean, I don't see any end in sight for this country being anywhere near on a right path until our next presidential election, because he's going to go out on a tour now, on a fundraising tour, because the DNC is flat broke. Debbie Wasserman Schultz came out today and said, we're broke. You know, we have no money, and we spent all the money we had and then some. So he's going to be going out fundraising. So there goes that. So, Amy, do you see anything tax reform that he even talked about, Biden and all the up? You see it even happening?
No. I mean, one of the things that we desperately need, and presidential leadership would be extremely useful, would be to go through all the programs. And we could use Obama's even words for this. The programs that are obsolete, that they're wasteful, that they're no longer necessary or duplicative. He has attacked these kinds of programs over and over and over again in speeches, and yet when it comes to just saying, okay, let's X them out, he's nowhere to be found. You know, the vacations themselves, they're a symbol. I mean, it's sort of like a stick in your eye and saying, you know, I don't care about any of our debts. I'm going to go to this vacation while my wife goes to that one and my kids go to two other places, which itself is pretty obnoxious. But if he was being a good steward of the taxpayers' money and getting rid of lucrative programs, of caring about delivering services, but only the ones that people actually need, then people would say, well, the vacations are expensive, but, you know, as a percentage of the federal budget, they're not all that much. What our problem is here is that these vacations are a symbol of the fact that it doesn't matter to him that the country is going into bankruptcy, that Medicare is unsustainable, that Social Security is unsustainable, that the promises made in Obamacare for Medicaid, the health care program for the poor, cannot possibly work. We can't afford them, and they will be very dangerous to people because of the shortages. So, you know, if he was a great president, they'd probably say, fine. You know, Reagan, Bob says Reagan went on vacation a lot. Reagan went to his own ranch, lots cheaper. Bush went to his own, not quite a ranch, but close to it in Texas, very much cheaper. And they also worked hard at their jobs. Now, yeah, I know you didn't like what they did, and Bush is pretty close to us in time, so it's hard to assess him. Reagan, we sort of know. People liked what he did. He won the Cold War, and he went to his own house when he went on vacation. I don't think that's such a bad combination.
Right, exactly. Okay, Bob, go on.
Oh, you're on such peripheral, meaningless stuff. Like I said, Obama's taken less vacation days than any of those guys you just mentioned. But he has, by the way, as I said, where's the stock market now?